I can see why homesteaders can do this all the time. If I had a dairy cow and a flock of chickens, this would have been a piece of cake. Hello and welcome to Homemaking with Joy. I'm Rachel, and in today's video I want to share some thoughts and reflections from our time doing the pantry challenge. We did the pantry challenge for all of January, and I have some ideas of how I'll continue in February, which I'll share more later. But we only ate out of our pantry here in our freezers for the whole month of January. I got milk and eggs and a little bit of fruit from the store for my kids because they don't know what a pantry challenge is, and we had a great time. It went really, really well. So I'm excited to share the benefits, check out my pantry a little bit, and yeah, let you know how I'll change my pantry and some other things moving forward. Like I said, I only saw benefits from doing this challenge, and one of the biggest ones that stuck out to me was that it simplified my cooking. I pretty much focused on a protein, a carb, a vegetable, and then maybe a fruit thrown in there too, because my kids like that, and especially if they weren't huge fans of the other parts of the meal. But really, it made my life a lot easier. My kids know that if they want to eat dinner, they need to let me be in the kitchen for a little while before dinner, because I've always cooked from scratch for them. But this was just, I was able to kind of turn my brain off a little bit and just coast and make meals that we knew. I didn't try anything fancy or different, or if I did try something different, it was very simple and very approachable. And it was really nice. My kids don't like fancy food. They don't like trying new things. They like the things that they know and the things that they already like. And so it's kind of a light bulb moment for me. Like, why do I make dinners more difficult than they have to be? Why do I try new things? I try them because I want to, but then I'm the only one who eats them, which is just frustrating. So instead of working against my family, against my toddlers, I worked with them and just kept it really simple. There were a couple nights I made breakfast sandwiches and my sons chowed down. I have 3 kids, ages 4 and under, all boys. So my 2 toddler boys just devoured these breakfast sandwiches. It was bagels and eggs and I think some bacon, and they loved it. Like, why do I bother making full-fledged meals when they're happy to eat breakfast sandwiches for dinner? So again, keep it simple, don't overcomplicate things, and it worked out really, really well. Another major perk of the pantry challenge was that we consumed very little processed foods. This is like my store-bought pantry shelf that I have in the basement, and I don't have a lot here anyway, mostly condiments and some boxed pasta, but really we didn't need to access this shelf. And that is awesome to me because we have so much real food stored in our canning jars and in our freezers. So one of the things that I saw a shift in was once the processed snacks were gone, we had to adapt to other things, which is one of the reasons I went back to the store to buy fresh fruit. My kids really enjoy apples and cheese and carrots as an afternoon snack. They're no longer eating veggie straws and pretzels and things like that. They've adapted, and that's what they ask for every day now. And that makes me so happy that they want to eat real food, that fuels them well, and they can have a great day because of it. So I don't need these store-bought items nearly as much. I'm cooking more from scratch, I'm baking more, and I have to think through those recipes, those processes a little bit more to make sure we have things on hand for them. But really, it wasn't that hard. And this is kind of the kick in the pants I needed to do all that from scratch because I can. I'm sitting in front of the freezers that we have in the basement where we keep some frozen food. It's mostly meat. We like to buy our meat in bulk, especially from local farmers if at all possible. So beef, pork, chicken, it's all in here. And I have plenty of it. Oh, and venison. My husband went hunting this fall and got some venison. So we have plenty in here. It's just having the forethought to come get it and thaw it. There were so many occasions before the pantry challenge where I would just grab a pound of ground beef or ground venison because it thaws really quickly, but I have like so many roasts in here, and I have lots of steaks and lots of things that need eaten, but it was never my first choice. And the pantry challenge has encouraged me, or forced me, to grab those cuts of meat that I don't normally cook and figure out how to do it. Like, I finally figured out how to cook a pot roast, and it is very exciting. So now I'm pumped about all the pot roast that I have in there, and so, so grateful. It also worked out that because I didn't buy any groceries, or very few groceries, during the month of January, we just got another quarter of a cow, and it's paid for by the grocery money that we set aside for January. So instead of buying groceries at the store in January, we were able to purchase a quarter of a cow, and it didn't affect our finances at all. Because I have plenty of food stored up, we just ate from that, and we have so much more to go. It does not even look like we put a dent in our pantry, especially now the freezer. We had to rearrange things to put the quarter of the cow in there, and now I told my husband, I feel rich. We have food in our basement to nourish our bodies and to take care of our children, and this is what richness feels like. And it's awesome, and I'm so grateful. Like I mentioned, we only purchased milk and eggs and a little bit of fruit in January, but at the very end of the month we took a family trip to Aldi. My husband's birthday is in the beginning of February, and he wanted a couple special items, and so we decided to make a trip of it. We spent about $100 on groceries that trip, and that should last us through the rest of February in regards to all of our store-bought goods, because we still have plenty of food down here that I really want to go through. And like I said, the freezers are full. We have no excuses to not eat from them. But I wanted to share a couple of things that were on my grocery list that we ran out of that I really wanted more of. And a lot of it was basics, like potatoes. I like to cook with potatoes, and I like to rotate those as my carbs with pasta and rice, so we don't get too bored of the other ones. I also got carrots, more just like full-sized carrots, because we ran out of those, and they're awesome in the winter for so many things, including snacks, like I mentioned earlier too. A lot of cheese products. I did not have enough cheese in my house to get us through January. Well, I did, but I had to ration it. I like to buy blocks of cheese and then keep them in the freezer. If we need shredded cheese, I'll just thaw it and shred it. If we want to slice it for snacks or on crackers, then we also have blocks of cheese for that. I like to use it in recipes because cheese is delicious. So I needed more cheese. The lady who checked us out at Aldi even commented, "Wow, your sons must really like cheese." I didn't mention to her that this was going to stock us up for the next month. So I feel like it was a normal amount of cheese for a whole month. I don't know, maybe people eat less cheese than we do. What else? Some boxed macaroni. I have a pasta maker that I really like, but it doesn't have a macaroni attachment for the front, like the shape. And so I do have to buy regular macaroni noodles, and that's also okay with me. I have a lot of macaroni or noodle instant pot meals, and those times are sensitive to the boxed macaroni, so it's okay. I'm happy to buy macaroni, and I'll make the rest of my pasta from scratch. It's all good. Something else we bought was a bottle of fruit juice. My kids like homemade jello, so that fruit juice will get turned into jello. And my husband picked up a couple of snacks along the way, which is totally fine. He's the one making an income for our family, so he's more than welcome to spend the grocery budget how he wishes. And now to share some of my thoughts as I move forward. Some things that I missed in my pantry were more cheese, as I mentioned. I kept thinking about how lovely it would be to have a dairy cow for all things milk and cheese and yogurt and all those things, or chickens for fresh eggs, but that's not our life, and I know those are a lot of work in a different way. So we're grateful to purchase those things from people who do raise them for us. Some other things, I would like more than one item of store-bought things stocked on my shelf. So I think it was maple syrup. I had to come down here for my backup maple syrup, and then the pantry shelf was empty, which I don't really like. So while I don't think we'll go through 2 containers of maple syrup in a month or anything, having more than one on my store-bought shelf I would like that. So I think I'll try to do that moving forward. As I came down to the basement to meal plan and saw what we had available in the canning pantry and the freezers and stuff, it did also encourage me in my preserving for this coming year and my garden prep for this coming year. So in my garden, I would like to learn how to grow 3 things this year. Hopefully I can. Broccoli is the first one. I did grow a little bit of broccoli last year, but a groundhog ate it all, so that was infuriating. And I'd really like to learn how to grow onions and potatoes because we consume a lot of those, and it's a great staple thing to be able to know how to grow. So those are my 3 goals for the garden this year. I'd like to grow as much broccoli as I can because that's one of our favorite vegetables, and I had to buy that. I had some frozen in the freezer for the pantry challenge, but we ran out, and that was a real bummer because we like having broccoli as a vegetable or a side dish option to our dinners. Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, who hosts this challenge, always does it through the end of February. And while I have gone to the store, like that one big stock up trip I mentioned, and smaller trips before that, I would like to continue from here on out through February. I am so grateful for the mindset shift that occurred this January. Like, I don't know why this didn't click earlier, but to just come downstairs and grocery shop in my basement before thinking about going to the store. I never overspent at the store, but I would always walk like through the meat section and look for meat that was on sale. And if I saw something, I'd grab it, which is not a bad thing. But with a little more forethought, I could have just used what was in my freezer and not even purchased that meat at the store. So this is forcing me to get a little creative sometimes, but come downstairs, go shopping in my freezers, in my big bins, in my store-bought pantry, in my canning pantry, and work from those basic ingredients first. And then when I do start going back to the store, maybe I'll start purchasing those things again. But really, I feel set. And again, with a couple additions of keeping more cheese on hand if I want to, growing broccoli so I can blanch and freeze and put it in my freezer for us all year long, really focusing on those staples is that's how I'll cook, that's how we'll eat, and I think that's a great way to do it. Thanks again for joining me for the Pantry Challenge this January, for watching the meals that I made. If you haven't seen them, I do have a playlist which I will link. You can check out a bunch of dinners and meals that I made through the Pantry Challenge. I will continue to cook from this lovely pantry that I've built. So grateful for the knowledge and the time and the skills to build this for my family and to feed us well. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you can see more of my cooking endeavors, how I take care of my family and my kids, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, friends.